other occasions, but today, this resonates high with me. Number one, because I grew up like one block from here, and the school that y'all call today, Harlem Renaissance, when I was growing up was PS24, and that's where I attended. But here, and you know, it's so ironic, and I heard your principal say today, when he was talking, that one of the major things he emphasized was knowledge is power. I said, I wonder if he knew that that was the slogan of PS24 when I attended here. You know? And how special that was to me. Another thing that resonated with me was what the valedictorian said, that teachers are very important because I'm the sum total of all the teachers that ever was involved in my life. Now, let me tell you a little bit about my life. The reason this is so special here today to me is because these same corners that you pass every day and you see guys and maybe today young girls standing on, these same corners, you will see people who will experience the hardest graduation they will ever have in their life, and that's graduating from the corners. And what was so amazing that happened to me is like the same thing that's happening to you guys today. I just said, you know what? I'm not going to get caught in the corner. And I went back to high school at 23 years old. I didn't finish school. College. It took me 7 years. You know? But the pull of the street is so powerful. You know? Sometimes you get shaky and your knees are knocked and you think about going the other way again, and then you catch yourself. What I want to tell you about the journey that you're on now, you're on the second lap of your journey because you came back now. That's what the Renaissance is. It's coming back. It's that rebirth that you're going through now. But what I discovered in my process is that it's never over. It's never over. When I opened up my store, and I said, I don't want to be in the street no more. I don't want to have nothing to do with street people. And I opened up my store. I thought that I could go to major distributors and buy. They said, no. They wouldn't buy to me because I was black. They wouldn't sell to me. So you know what I said? This is the second Renaissance I had to go through. I said, you know what? Because they're not going to sell to me, I'm going to teach myself to do what they do better than the way they do it. And for 30 years that I operated that store, all the major designers, all the fashion brands copied what I did and never recognized me. But then, Black Twitter came along, and Beyonce wore one of my creations that I made back in the 80s, and Black Twitter said, no, y'all ain't getting away with this one. Y'all not getting away with this one. And because of Black Twitter, Gucci had to come to me and make a partnership, and that's why I have a partnership. First Black person in the world, not a collaboration. That's what it is. I have a partnership with them. What that means is that everything that I create at my atelier in Harlem on 122nd Street, Malcolm X Boulevard, everything I create there is exclusive to people of Harlem, and you can only get it there. Then I have a collection that goes in every Gucci store around the world that people purchase, and I get a percentage of that. But before all this is happening, there was PS24, or what you call Harlem Renaissance. Those was like the hardest, tryingest years of my life. And at this time, just for a moment, I like to call my friend Bishop Dahu, who grew up with me. Will you come up to the podium? When we was going to PS24, we did not realize how poor we were. We didn't even know how poor we were. Once a week, we got to go swimming. And when PS24 took us, and we went swimming, we was required to swim naked. We thought that was normal. And before we got into the pool, they had to check our bodies. They had to check our bodies. Like, I didn't even know they was lining us up like slaves. They had to check our bodies. I could not believe that, right? That's right. And in spite of that there, we still persevered. He became a bishop of the church now. We both used to run around in the street like we was crazy. I just wanted to make a few statements.
First of all, congratulations to 2019 students. I applaud you in the great way for your achievement. Again, as Dapper Dan said, I went here, it was IS 201. And all of it was about struggling. We struggled. And the struggle's still not over, but you have to keep in mind to persevere, to know you are beautiful inside. Can I get you to say, I am beautiful inside?
I am beautiful inside.
I am fantastic.
I am fantastic.
And I can do all things.
And I can do all things.
Peace.
I was trying to close it. When I saw my life falling apart, one thing came back to me. My father went to the 3rd grade, and he had to teach himself how to read. I remember I was going to I never even got my own clothes, my own suit of clothes till I was like 13. When I was 13, my father was going to buy me my first suit that didn't come from Goodwill. So we went to the department store, and I had to learn, from school, how to calculate rate time interest to figure out what they was going to charge my father because he was going to buy it on time. And so I read the contract, and I saw that the contract stated that he was going to pay 2.5 times what the suit was worth. Right? I said, Daddy, don't buy it. Don't buy it. And so we walked down the steps. When we was walking down the steps, my father stopped me mid-steps and looked in my face, man, and with like tears welling up in his eyes. And he said, boy, don't you know you could read? He said, boy, you could read. And you take reading for granted. He said, boy, you can read, And my father had to teach himself to read. So later in my life, when my life got complicated, I said, you know what? I was doing a lot of reading. I started reading everything. I taught myself everything about textile printing. Everything about, I didn't go to any school at all. Everything that I did in the garment industry had nothing to do with the fashion industry at large. Everything I taught myself. And I did that because when I read Malcolm X, the first book I read was Malcolm X's speech to the grassroots. And in that speech he says, if you want to understand the flower, study the seed. So anything I wanted to know, I would start. I said, where did it come from? How did it start? The most important thing you got to remember about your journey, if you get in trouble, find you a book and read your way out of trouble.